you want faster results in growth. And you want to know what doesn't help in growth. Trust me, there's going to be plenty of the last one. Some of them which just drive me very crazy when I see people do them. I am Zero. This is a stone cold truth. All right, first one, living alone. Ultimately, what we all have is we have a mask on that we put on every day that you try to not show people that you're vulnerable. That's very, very exhausting. So at least when you come home, you can take it off, you can unwind, you can self-reflect, you can get over your issues. The one thing that bothered me was when I lived with my parents was it was so hard to self-reflect to try and grow because it was always loud. I could never ever think. And obviously, as you're going through growth, if you're surrounded by other people, you'll get easily irritated, triggered, mad, so you may lash out. So it's best if you live alone. That way, at least, if you're going through the motions, if you're getting emotional, you're at home by yourself. The second thing is unwinding. Now, I've suffered through this many times in growth when you're really, really exhausted mentally, because when you're consistently self-reflecting, you just feel, you just feel tired. You feel exhausted. You feel negative, not because you're a negative person, but because you're consistently facing your negative past. So if I'm really, really dedicated on trying to get over something, a simple exercise, take a nap. I don't know why, but after I take a short nap, I wake up and it's like I just recharged. I'm reset. And when I reflect again, it's like the progress is a lot faster that way. For some reason, I obviously, I guess because your mind is clear. When you had enough of self-reflecting and facing your traumatizing past, you gotta get some rest. You gotta get some sleep. And like I said, if you're stubborn and you're trying to get over something, just take a nap. Also, if you made peace with something, because obviously in growth, you're consistently making peace with things, you're getting over stuff, you gotta let it sink in. At least with me, I'm that kind of person that things don't sink in immediately. So what I obviously do is just have a day off where I just relax, forget about self-reflection, about growing, get rested, and also that makes me want to go back into growth, because at that point I know how it feels to be at peace, to get over something, so I want to go back. Okay, this last thing that will help you grow, because all the rest, they're all stuff that it doesn't work. But yeah, the last thing that will help you grow, and that's growing for others. This goes back to when I said about understanding others. You can't just be selfish, because I feel like you limit yourself. You cap yourself off and you can't grow anymore. So what I mean by growing for others is, it's like this. It's like if any of you have seen The Matrix, where you got the red pill and the blue pill. You see reality for what it is, and you see everybody living in a lie. When you're going through growth, that bubble pops. Once you see the truth, you can't unsee everything else. You see your family, your friends, your significant other. You can see their pain. You can see what's bothering them for some reason. Like your radar is just really good. I don't know what you call it, but you can just sense when something's wrong. You can definitely see when people are being fake. So once you see the truth, there's no going back. And me being the kind of person that I am, I didn't want to just grow for myself. Once I saw how everybody else was struggling, I really wanted to grow even more for them, because I knew that once I figured out the steps and to see if it actually works, I would help preach, trying to help them out. Right when I started to think like that, my progress, it sped up so fast. Unfortunately, some of us don't really have, well, anybody, and that sucks, because if you're truly alone, if you have no family, no friends, no significant other, then honestly, I just feel bad for you. And hopefully life gets better, because like I said before, to me, what makes life fun, at the very least, is having those bonds. And, if you do have those bonds, why wouldn't you want them why wouldn't you want those people to be better, to better themselves, to be at peace with things? So that was my motivation after I kept going through growth. I'm not saying start preaching to them. I'm not saying try and help them when you're still going through growth. That comes at the end. Let me repeat that again. I'm not saying preach to them. I'm just saying have them in the back of your mind. Grow with the intention of helping them out in the end after you bettered yourself first. Okay, what doesn't work in growth? There's so many things people do that don't work, but I'm gonna go to the ones that to me seem like people try with the intention that it's actually gonna work, but it doesn't, because there's some obvious stuff. Like some people think that if you just gain some muscles or get some plastic surgery or just get a hot significant other, buy a fancy house, start a family, that's going to solve all your issues. I'm not going to talk about those because that's just common sense. Outside factors, they won't help you. I'm going to stick on the ones that seem like, for the most part, seem like they may work, but really don't work. Okay. You against the world. It's like if your life is a scene out of Rocky where you're the underdog, you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. That is wrong. The reason it is wrong is because you're making the illusion that you're special. Well, here's the stone cold truth. Truth is, you're not the only one going through crap. Everyone else is as well. So, you're not an underdog. It's not you against the world. It's you against you. This is just the ego lying to you. It's just saying that you're special. I'm not saying that you're not special, obviously. If you're into growth and if you're trying to better yourself, you're awesome in my eyes. But don't make yourself special in the sense that your life is just more unique than everybody else's. Number 2, focusing too much on guidance. Now, one thing that I see a lot is people buying self-help books. They go to motivational speakers and hear whatever they got to say. They go to TED Talks, whatever it may be. How many books do you got to read for them to truly heal you? 10, 20, 30? How much money are you spending on these books, on these sessions? Once you know all the steps to growth, you don't need any of that. All you need is your dedication towards self-reflection, towards fighting the ego, understanding others, being honest with yourself, the basic stuff. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then go watch my previous videos, which I'll link at the bottom or at the end of the video. But yeah, once you know the basics of growth, you don't need any other book, any other motivational speaker. Just work on yourself. Practice the basics. And if you don't believe me, well, just remember, there's no shortcuts to growth. You can try to find a shortcut in a book, but all this time that you're trying to find a shortcut, spend it on yourself. Do some self-reflection. Use your time wisely. And use your money wisely, obviously. I've noticed some videos saying that you should apologize. Well, this is the thing. Apologizing will not bring you peace. Ultimately, what happens is you realize that you screwed up and you learn to forgive yourself. Now, I'm not saying you don't have to apologize. Honestly, we're all human beings. If you screwed somebody over, then you should apologize. But apologize at the end. It's my firm belief that apologies mean nothing if you don't change. Even if you do feel bad for what you did to this person, it doesn't matter as long as you haven't grew. You know, because I've noticed this, that I've apologized to this one person in the past. I guess my apology, it didn't seem sincere, but recently when I apologized to them, they could tell that it was genuine, and they forgave me and we're actually cool. So I never expected that to happen. So I'm not saying you don't have to apologize. Just if you're gonna do it towards the end. Let me say this again because nobody ever listens to me. Apologize at the end after you're done growing. Number 4, cutting people out of your life. This is a bad idea. Now, I'm not saying that some people shouldn't be cut out of your life. Like, I had some friends who were trying to offer me cocaine and just do drugs. I cut them out. Obviously, there's some really bad influences you got to cut out. The problem is when some people take it to the extreme and they cut anybody that annoys them. Like, I'll give you an example. This friend of mine, she got her heart broken from this guy. So she picked up drinking. She would constantly post herself drinking over and over every day. Then one day she posted, and she must have been drunk and vented, and said, I'm a grown woman. I can do whatever I want. You're not my parents, my mom, dad. If you're going to give me crap, then I'm going to block you. So I responded with, look, these people obviously care for you. If they want you to stop drinking, it's probably because they genuinely care. So she understood that, and she actually stopped drinking. I was surprised. But yeah, you can't just cut people just because they annoy you. Especially when you're going through growth, you get easily annoyed. Everybody will annoy you at some point. You can't just get annoyed and cut them out of your life and say they're a negative influence. So yeah, you got to be more understanding before you cut somebody. Be careful on that because there's some good people out there, some good friends, and you don't know what's going on. So just be careful. So on the topic of cutting people out of your life, surrounding yourself with the right people, because that's what some people do is they try and find those positive, perky, bubbly people, those happy people. Well, there's a problem with that. That will not help you grow. If you have a support cast that is positive, they're not going to do the work for you in growth. All the work, it ends up on your shoulders. Now, I'm not saying that having a positive support system of friends, whoever it may be, family, whatever, I'm not saying it doesn't help. It does help if you're trying to vent, because sometimes you just got to vent. But that's not going to cure you. Like I said, the work comes down to you. Out of sight, out of mind. If you don't know what that means, basically it means if something bothers you, get away from it or have it go away from you. I'm not going to lie. There are certain areas or certain people that when I would see them, they'll bring back flashbacks and I'll get anxiety, whatever it may be. But I knew better. I knew that even if I were to get away from that situation, it wouldn't help. Because despite the fact that they may be states away, countries away, all the pain is here. That can't escape. What I do in this situation, if something bothers me, if a place bothers me, if a person bothers me, if they bring back some past trauma, some flashbacks, whatever it may be, I reflect on it. I reflect on it and I try to get over it. I don't run away from my issues. I always try to face them because I'm just honest with myself. I don't want to be miserable. So I do know that some people went through some really traumatic events and, being surrounded by some people may not be the wisest decision, but for the most part, like I said, you got to reflect. You can't run away from your problems. You got to face them. You got to face your fears. You got to face your past, your traumas, your pain, etc. Deactivating social media. That's a constant one that you always hear from people. It's a negative place. I'm going to deactivate social media. Does that really help in growth? Instead of spending all your time on social media, you could spend it on growth. So you're just learning to spend your time more wisely. Going off social media is not going to help heal you at all. What's going to help heal you, like I said, is redirecting that time and helping yourself with self-reflection. I'm not even going to go on about how people vent on social media or every other thing that people do on social media. There's just too much to say about it. But yes, deactivating social media will not heal you. Just focus on growth. Now, the last thing. This is what I always see people do, especially on social media. They always have positive sayings, positive mantras, affirmations. They try and just say, think positive. Well, positive words, nice words may help you when you're trying to work out. It might inspire you, it might help you get farther in your career, but no words will help you in growth unless those words are the hard truth. Not just the hard truth, the stone cold truth. But yeah, positive sayings, they don't work. I know I tried that when I first tried to go through growth before I knew all the steps. I tried that. I would be one of those persons who would put a inspirational quote on their profile. It doesn't work. And the last thing is the positive mindset. This is the one that really makes me shake my head, is people just trying to ignore their issues, just saying, think happy thoughts, think happy thoughts, think happy thoughts, and everything will just be okay. That's never gonna work. You gotta face the facts. Face the reality that you got your issues. They're not going away. You gotta get over them. No amount of nice words, positive mindset will help. So you can try it. It's not gonna work. I'll go as far as to say that you having positive sayings and you having a positive mindset is actually holding you back. The reason is, in growth, you have to be honest, as I've said in a previous video. You gotta be your own worst critic. You gotta realize that, look, like, I got my issues. I have issues. I gotta deal with them. And despite the fact that, yeah, you may start seeing growth and you feel better, you gotta keep going till eventually you have no more issues. Just gotta be honest, man. Gotta be honest. And so yeah, try the positive sayings, try the positive mantras. Ain't gonna work. Yeah. With that said, there's not much I gotta say. I mean, I said everything I had to say, all the steps, what works, what doesn't, and the benefits of growth. I could make more videos and give a lot of my opinions, but I've realized that my opinions don't matter. No one gives a crap about them. In the end, what matters is, honestly, if any of you can try growth and try to better yourself. As long as you know the key things, then that's all that matters. So yeah, that's basically it. That's everything you gotta know. That's all the steps towards growth, how growth can help you in your life, with your bonds of family, friends, in your relationship, what works and what doesn't. So that's all you gotta know. Hopefully you take my advice, and trust me, it'll work. But with that said, if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, and good luck with growth.